We are live. I want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors and especially KVAR, KVAR.com. Go check out KVAR.com. If you haven't checked out KVAR, please give them a look. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody who tunes in, and I appreciate everybody who watches later. Please take a minute to tune in. Let me set up my deal here. So if you get a chance, remember to check out and thank all the sponsors, everybody associated with the podcast and everybody associated with the KVAR and KVAR.com. And, of course, all you guys. We are going to do a really fun review of John Wick 3. I had the opportunity to see it. I'm not sure if anybody's seen it or anybody's tuned in. And I want to get people's opinions and I want to get everybody's thoughts on John Wick. So hopefully everybody's good. You guys good? Good. So I had the opportunity to go see John Wick, and it was really interesting. You guys know my opinion on John Wick. Hopefully the sound's better today. I'm working out some sound kinks, so hopefully you guys are getting good, clear, crisp sound. But let me know if you don't. If you haven't had the opportunity to tune in and see John Wick, it was interesting. So the first one obviously took the shooting industry by storm. John Wick hits the scene. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's the first movie that somebody's actually handling a gun properly, and it's the first movie that a character in a long, long time people feel they can get behind and they feel they can support. It was really kind of a cult classic really quick, especially around the gun industry. Everybody started to become John Wick minions. Everybody was like, John Wick, John Wick, John Wick. So I could see where all the hubbub came from for the second one. The second one, to me, started to jump the shark where everybody was an assassin and everybody's killing everybody. But I really could appreciate the thought put into the script and the thought put into the editing and just everything that was done to make the movie great. And I really appreciated Keanu's focus to his tradecraft and how he trained and how he prepared for the role, which made it even better. So I thought that was awesome. He used great defensive tactics, good jiu-jitsu, good judo techniques, everything that you would expect someone who spent as much time as he did training to incorporate, and it was really something to be reckoned with. It was really something to be watched. So I was really excited to watch it. Around midway through the second one, it started to jump the shark a little bit for me. It got a little strange. I wasn't a huge fan of where it went and kind of what went on. And the thought that everybody became an assassin was a little ridiculous. So I think everybody was with me at that point. It was really cool that they had these bulletproof suits and his gun handling. Everything was really slick, really smooth. And I was like, wow, geez, this is really fucking cool. But then it started to get a little weird for me. So John Wick 3 comes up. Of course, everybody goes bananas. John Wick 3, John Wick 3. Gotta go see John Wick 3. So I went and I saw it. Sat through the movie. I'll probably see it maybe one more time. Thought it was well done. I thought it was a good movie. But it started to become a movie for me. And it started to become a movie for me for a couple of reasons. So most of the time you hear this term, and I've thrown it around a couple times, jumped the shark. Movies tend to jump the shark, especially series. So somewhere along the way, something happens that just makes you start to look at it like, okay, now it's just another movie to me. So along the way in John Wick 2, it started to jump the shark for me when everybody started to become an assassin. I was kind of like, okay, this is a bit much. I was like, I can't wrap my head around this. I can't, get behind this. In John Wick 3, it goes all the way completely to ridiculousness. Now, I'm going to give you guys a few things that you have to kind of suspend disbelief on, and this may sabotage the movie for a few people. So it starts out, if you're familiar with John Wick 2 ends off. John Wick 2 ends off. He's kind of in a funky place. He's exiled. He has to figure out a way out. Everybody's hunting him down and trying to kill him. He's got a bounty on his head. It goes from like 13 million to 14 million to I don't even know what number by the end of the movie. But it gets crazy. So now everybody's out to kill him, and he has so much time in the beginning to get safe passage to somewhere where he can kind of hide out and regroup. And the whole movie is just one big giant action sequence. So throughout the entire movie, it's one big giant action sequence. What's up? Big shout out to Taurus. What's up, David? So one big giant action sequence. And Halle Berry comes in on the scene kind of as a helper to him, and she plays a role of someone he has a past with. You really don't know the complete past with him and Halle Berry and kind of what was involved with that, but she comes into the fold and she's involved. And he cashes in, he has a marker with her, and he cashes in a marker. And again, if you haven't seen it, now's your chance to tune out. But he cashes in a marker with Halle Berry where she's got to help him out, and she has to get him in communication with certain people. Now, I hated this part of the movie. I thought Halle Berry was a toss-in in the movie. I thought they could have done a much better job writing her into the movie, because I really didn't see the point of him going to see the person he was going to see that was supposedly above the council. And I didn't really understand what the point of that was if he was just going to defy it to begin with. It didn't make any sense to me, that whole write-in. I thought they could have done a much better job fleshing that whole part out. And when you see it, I'd like to get your thoughts on it and what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you think I'm fucking way off and I'm anti-John Wick, let me know. So, that was kind of a whole setup of a scene that didn't really make sense to me. I thought the action was badass. I thought Halle was badass in the action, but I didn't understand the writing of that and why he had to get to the person that was above the council if there was going to be no point to him meeting with the person above the council. It just didn't make sense to me. So I was a little disappointed at that. I thought there was going to be like a deeper meaning to that. I thought we were going to understand how the council was created. I thought we were going to get more to that, because he was meeting the one above all, and I was like, geez, now they're going to flesh out how that whole council was set up. I was like, wow, this is going to be fucking awesome. We're going to get the backstory. Didn't get the backstory. So I was a little pissed off about that. So we do find out a little bit about John's training. We find out a little bit how he was trained, where he came up. I thought that was kind of cool, and I thought that story could have been fleshed out a little bit more. I like that they left some of it to mystery. I thought they could have done more with it. But I definitely think they could have done more with the council scene. They left a little to be desired there. So, as I was kind of going through the process a little bit, watching the movie in my head and hoping to kind of extract more data, more information, I was a little bit like, okay, this is great. Action, action, action. Where's it going from here? They take you on a little bit of a journey with John where he's a little bit trying to figure out how he gets back to zero. And working with Winston, who ran the hotel, he managed to, the Continental, he managed to kind of figure out his out. And Winston, in a roundabout way, without giving too much of the movie away to you guys that don't want too many spoilers, Winston helps him find an out. And the movie leaves you with a little bit of a hanger where you kind of get to a point of figuring out, okay, he's free of this debt and he's free of this exile, so to speak. It's a little cloudy, but he's free of the exile, so to speak. And he has the opportunity to help Winston restore the Continental and restore his place. I was not a huge fan of the storyline. I enjoyed the action of the movie, and I enjoyed the action and how the movie played out. I didn't love... I feel like they had some missed opportunities in the writing, and it didn't have to be one big, giant action scene. The issue I have with those one big, giant action scenes is there's literally 72 or 90, 100 hours of him just constantly fighting. And the man never sleeps. In fact, there are points in the movie where I question whether or not he even bathes. So it's like you run that gamut in your mind, and it leaves a little bit to be desired. So I was a little disappointed, and thank you for tapping hearts, and thank you guys for the comments. And I definitely want to hear your comments below as how you thought the movie played out. But I thought it left a lot to be desired. So my hope is that you all go out and see the movie, because it's great. It's great movie. It's good popcorn. It's great to go sit in a theater, see how it plays out, see how it shakes out. I definitely enjoyed a lot of the action scenes, and if you're looking for a movie that's one big giant action scene, like a Die Hard, but I feel like they left a lot of backstory on the table that they could have got into that would have drawn you more and more into the character. I wanted more depth. I think since John Wick 1, we were looking for more depth on that character and what that character was all about. So that could have went in 100 directions for me. And I feel like it was opportunity missed to talk about the council. It was opportunity missed to talk about the one above all and where he fit in. And it was opportunity to talk about John's character and kind of where that fleshes out. They started to stem into that. Now, I don't know if they have plans to do 4 or 5 of these, but you have to keep people engaged through all these episodes if you're going to continue to draw people in. I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't know the numbers yet. Let me take a look and give you guys some data on the box office. But I feel like it left a lot on the table. It's at 88 million right now. No, John Wick 1 did, it looks like it says did 88 million. What did John Wick 3? Let's see. John Wick 3 box office. I should have had a little more data. Box Office Mojo usually gives me most of my stats, but let's take a look and see if I can't give you guys something. So domestic as of May 22nd is about 73 million. Foreign's about 36 million. So opening weekend did 56 million. And let's see what the budget is. Let's see. Because we'll have a good idea if we'll see a sequel. It's a $40 million budget. And it looks like we probably would see a John Wick. We probably would see a John Wick 4 if they wanted to do it, if they wanted to bring it back. So I would propose this to my audience, because these reviews, I typically make them shorter and tighter videos. So I propose this to my audience. Do you want to see a John Wick 4? And if so, what do you want to see in it? Because I know if I want to see a John Wick 4, I want to see more about the backstory. I thought we were going to get this in the third one. We did. I think if they're going to bring it back and they're going to start to go the route of making this almost like a Fast and Furious, where there's spin-offs and maybe we see Hallie or we see other things come into play. I don't want to get into too much and cause too many spoilers for you guys. But if we're gonna go that route where we're gonna see multiple characters come in, it looks like they're gonna go that route. I would like to see more about John's backstory before we almost abandon that. I'd like to hear more about the council. I'd like to hear more about that. Maybe the fourth one, the title, the grab, or the way to hook people is you call it the council or you call it the Continental. And you can get into more about that and you can get into more of that backstory. But I feel like it left a lot to be desired. It left some stuff on the table. It left too much on the table for me for a third one. Whether or not they decide to go that route, whether or not they incorporate more, it will remain to be seen. But could they? Should they? Yes. If they're going to get my money on the fourth one in a movie theater, which they're probably going to get it anyway because I'm going to do a review for you guys, they probably should do something where they get deeper into that backstory. They touch on it. They show you a little bit about John being trained, and he's from Belarus. That's kind of where you start to get that, and you start to understand a little bit about where he's coming from and what he was born into. But you don't get a lot of the fine details, and you don't get a lot of the fine details about the council that you'd like to get. So it looks like he was born into this kind of Assassin's Creed, and he was born into this world, but you don't fully understand all the ins and outs about it. I'd like to. I wish they would. I think they could. I think they could get a lot out of it. Whether or not we will in a fourth one, I'll leave up to you guys to comment below. But hopefully everybody understands that. So American Merit says, I haven't actually seen any of the John Wicks. Time to binge. Yeah, I think you should. I think you should check them out. Like Thomas says, he's going to be so old, he's going to be teaching a new one, and it's going to go back to how he began. That's an interesting take, Blake Thomas. That's kind of the Star Wars take on it, where there's always another one and they're always training another one. I like that. I don't think that's the case because Keanu really carries the movie, and we haven't seen a passing of the torch successfully in a non-ensemble cast. And this really isn't an ensemble cast, other than, and this is probably a bad example because of how far the time was between, but we saw a little bit of that in the Rocky to Creed series, where we saw that Creed could carry probably a trilogy, and it was a very well done 2 movies so far, and we'll probably see a third Creed movie. And that was a unique circumstance because they really had a good story to cling on with that. Where we could see that, and I don't want to get into too much of a spoiler, and I don't know if you've seen it, Blake, is Halle Berry does allude to how John got the marker in the first place. They give you a little teaser there as to how John came into control of Halle Berry through the marker. You could see some of that in a fourth one, but I think it still leaves too much on the table with John, especially with John with the council. I thought there was, and I want to get you guys' thoughts that have seen the movie, but there was definitely something left on the table. There was definitely something left there that we didn't get, I felt like. So I would have liked to see a little bit more. If you guys want to hear more spoilers, I'm more than happy to answer your questions as they come in. I'm going to be watching it today on Fire Stick. You should. Give it a watch. Let me know what you think in the comments below, Blake, because I'm going to definitely be answering and be looking for everybody's thoughts. That's my take on John Wick. Good movie, good popcorn, good theater, good all that. Left a little on the table, left some plot holes I thought could have been filled, didn't flesh out some of the story that I thought would have been fleshed out in this movie. Could have done that, didn't do that. I felt it was a missed opportunity with Halle to go deeper. I felt like it was a missed opportunity with the council to go deeper, and 100% a missed opportunity to go deeper with John Wick and to get a little bit more out of that character and get more out of that movie. So, I have my misgivings with making it one big giant action sequence. I think John Wick commands enough action. I think they're getting high on the action. I will say this, I'll give you a spoiler alert. It jumped the shark for me completely. And by jump the shark, I mean they lost me completely at the fight scene where John's fighting 2 guys before he fights the main boss. It was a little too video game-ish, the way that he fights 2 guys, then he's leading into the main boss. It was very very like they were so honored to fight him that they weren't killing him. They were just hurting him and wounding him leading into the main boss. I was kind of like, this is too Super Mario Brothers for me. I feel like before he gets to King Koopa, he fights a couple lesser bosses, and then it leads to another thing, and it just was a little much for me. And I don't want to give the whole movie away for those of you that haven't seen it, because I want to get your thoughts below, but once you do see it, you'll understand what I'm saying almost immediately. So that's my take on John Wick 3. That's my review, courtesy of KVAR. I want to thank everybody at KVAR. I want to thank everybody at FIME, and I want to thank everybody at Rex Firearms. I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody goes out and sees the movie. It's a good movie. It's great popcorn. Go check it out. I hope everybody enjoys this review. When you see it, you'll understand. Give me your comments below. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm fucking nuts. Whatever you want. Let me know below. But I feel like too many missed opportunities for me. If I was a betting man and it was my money, I'd go see it. I would definitely like to see more in the fourth one if they go there. Are we going to see more KVAR, John? You're going to see tons more KVAR. Go check out KVAR.com. Check out KVAR. You're going to see a lot more KVAR to come. Please head over to KVAR and thank them for sponsoring the podcast. Thank them for supporting. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate everybody's time, and I hope everybody goes out and checks it out. And I will be in touch with you guys soon. I'm hoping to have a couple of really great guests on coming up. I'm in talks right now with getting some folks out, so hopefully everybody is going to have a great Memorial Day weekend and get some downtime and get a little R&R and spend some time with your families and remember why Memorial Day is celebrated in the first place. That's really the most important thing. So make sure you thank a veteran, make sure you thank a service member, make sure you thank anybody in your community that's protecting you. So that's really the most important thing. So to that, I say, thank the sponsors. Appreciate you guys. Remember to tune in. Go check out my website. Check out everything. And remember, please, expect nothing, blame no one, and do your job. I'll talk to you guys. I hope everybody's well.